I want to introduce Naad మీ అందరికి. So నేను స్టార్ట్ చేస్తాను. Naad. What does Naad mean? The word Naad just basically means a very good vibration or the sound. So the first vibrations of the universe వచ్చేసి దాన్ని Naad అంటారు. మేము ఈ బ్రాండ్ స్టార్ట్ చేసేటప్పుడు we were thinking of we are starting an ecosystem of coffee and it has to reach ఇంకా అది ఆ ecosystem of coffee has to reach larger audience. So it is మేము స్టార్ట్ చేసేది that is something which is being started with very good and very good intentions. So మేము ఆ కాఫీ ఎకోసిస్టమ్ గురించి ఆలోచించేటప్పుడు we thought cafe is not the only one ecosystem of coffee. So cafe తో పాటు there is so much of story about Indian coffee. అది వరల్డ్ కి తెలియాలి అనేసి మీరు మా లక్ష్యం చూస్తే it is called మట్టిలో పుట్టిన దాన్ని మనసుకి హత్తుకునేలాగా కాఫీ ప్రపంచాన్ని మీ దగ్గర చేయడం. సో దీని మీనింగ్ ఏంటంటే కాఫీ ఏదైతే మట్టిలో పుడుతుందో దాని ఎకోసిస్టమ్ కాఫీ వచ్చేసి ఆ కాఫీ ఎలా గ్రో అవుతుంది, దాని రూట్స్ ఏంటి, దాని టెక్నిక్స్ ఏంటి, ఇవన్నీ ప్రతి ఒక్క సోల్ కి టచ్ అవ్వాలనేసి ఆ లక్ష్యంతో వి స్టార్టెడ్ కాఫీ. అందుకనే మా కాఫీ షాప్ చూస్తే మీకు ఆల్ ద ఎలిమెంట్స్ ఆఫ్ కాఫీ లైక్ రోస్టరీ, బ్రూవింగ్, కాఫీ షాప్, కాఫీ లెర్నింగ్ అకాడమీ, ఈ అన్ని ఎలిమెంట్స్ ని వీప్ చేస్తూ వి బిల్డర్ ఆర్ బ్రాండ్ అని. So this is our intention behind building this brand. And also India lo grow అయిన coffees are very well known for the shade grown variety and because of the biodiversity that India has. But unfortunately India lo grow అయిన coffee anta bulk lo we export. సో దాంతో ఇండియన్ కాఫీ స్టోరీ వరల్డ్ కి తెలియదు. మేము వచ్చేసి ఒక బ్రాండ్ తయారు చేసి ఇండియా కాఫీ స్టోరీని వరల్డ్ కి ఎలా తీసుకెళ్లాలనేసి ఆ ఇంటెన్షన్ తో స్టార్ట్ చేసి సో అవర్ ఎయిమ్ ఇస్ టు గో local to global. So where we take Indian coffees to the world and let the world know how well Indian coffee culture is or what coffees India grows. Thank you.
So this is Naad's mandala, and the mandala has a lot of meaning. Explains Naad's story, how we see coffee from our point of view, our perspective. It's all very based on icons, iconography. So the first is the coffee bean, of course. Coffee is our hero here. Coffee is the center of our universe. So that's why we put the coffee bean just at the center once. And from here, everything unfolds. The next layer of the mandala represents the coffee plants, the ecosystems, the forests, where the coffee grows, which is very important for us when we go to the plantations and select our coffees to ensure and make sure that coffee is cultivated according to the natural laws and we are not actually creating any harm to the environment. Quite opposite, we're building upon ecology and biomes through coffee. Next level of the mandala is the hand picking. That movement represents careful mindfulness, selection. This is not an industrialized process. It's a very much hand process, hand driven. We make sure every coffee fruit that comes to Naad has been done and picked by hand and selected to ensure that the fruit is fully ripe, where all the flavors will be represented later when we roast and brew. So that is the hand selected icon. Moving along, the coffee comes to us here at Naad. This is the icon that represents one of the most important parts of our journey, roasting. Roasting is a science as well as a craft. And at Naad, roasting is very much present all the time. In fact, Naad is more like a roastery where you actually enjoy a cup of coffee. And that is what this icon represents here. And the fire transforms a green bean into a beautiful roasted bean that later on will come to your cup. After roasting, we are going to do the brewing. And that icon represents brewing, a pour-over icon that represents similarly precision, knowledge, understanding. Because if you don't brew well, all the work we have done at the back is meaningless. So the brewing for us is extremely important. That's why the icon of brewing is represented here. The last icon, what we call the Pushpaputra Mudra. For us, that's the last step. Hand over the cup to you. The hospitality, the last mile. Ensuring that not only the coffee is well done, but the handover is done perfect. We want to reach you, we want to deliver you the best we can, and we want to ensure you, when you come to Naad, you feel really at home. That is unreasonable hospitality, as we call it. So this is our universe represented in a mandala. As you can see, there's no words needed once you understand this beautiful representation of Naad's philosophy, story, and values. Yes, so this is our Kyoto towers. Those come from Japan. This method was actually developed by the Dutch when they were just sailing with their ships. They needed to make coffee without heating up water. It was too complicated to heat up water in a ship on a long journey. So they tried to just steep cold water coffee ground overnight, and the next day they would enjoy a cup of coffee. That was the beginning of this. But the Japanese, as you know, they're very meticulous in their brews. So they kind of crafted a new process of brewing coffee. And here is the Kyoto cold drips, which is based in a concept of tipping. Not steeping, but by maceration, saturation. On the top of the towers, here we have just room temperature water, which is going to go down. And then with this precision tap, it's called a needle tap, opens up into 5 spouts. Each spout carries 1 drop of water. That 5 drops of water will fall down into the coffee bed and slowly saturate the grounds and drip down to the decanter below. This is a very slow process. It takes between 12 to 18 hours. But the result is just such a clean cup of coffee. Very layered, very complex, but very clean. Why? Because when we brew coffee with hot water, we do actually destroy some of the volatile compounds. Here, certain volatile compounds are kept intact, and then we have the result of a very, very, very high quality brew, which is called the Black Remedy series. Bottle in a very particular glass bottle that I can show you later. You keep it in the fridge and you enjoy it with a glass, a whiskey glass with ice cubes. Put it there, let it chilled, and then sip by sip you can enjoy this drink for a long time.
Naad Academyలో ఇక్కడ మీరు కాఫీ గురించి ఫ్రమ్ బ్రూయింగ్, ఫ్రమ్ రోస్టింగ్, ఫ్రమ్ కప్పింగ్, ఫ్రమ్ గ్రేడింగ్ ద కాఫీ, ఆర్ జస్ట్ యూ వాంట్ టు హ్యావ్ అ గుడ్ సెషన్ రిగార్డింగ్ కాఫీ తెలుసుకోవాలి కొత్తగా మీకంటే నాద్ అకాడమీకి రావచ్చు మీరు. అండ్ దిస్ ఈజ్ ఆల్ సర్టిఫైడ్, ఇట్ ఇస్ సర్టిఫైడ్ కోర్స్ ఇక్కడ ఉంటుంది, మీకు ప్రొవైడ్ చేస్తాం మేము. ఇట్ విల్ వెరీ స్టార్టింగ్ ఫ్రమ్ వెరీ సూన్ బై ద మంత్ ఆఫ్ జూన్. అండ్ ఆల్సో యాజ్ అ సెడ్, మేము రోస్టరీ కూడా, కాఫీ షాప్ అండ్ రోస్టరీ, సో వీ డూ రోస్టింగ్ ఇక్కడ. We source our own beans, we source our own beans from a farmer, South Indian nunchi, do the all quality procedures regarding coffee, green bean coffee analysis, and then we start roasting. Akkada roasting lo it's very jagrata padalsina job adi, where each and every minute detail will matter while doing the roasting. So it's very a job onedi, if you are not able to do it properly, that will affect brewing lo. So that's where we take our pride. Akkada mem chaala practice unnamu. The whole roastery setup we have is one of the setups in India. The coffee roasting we got memo Germany తీసుకొచ్చాము. And after roasting section we have a brewing section. Brewing we have very beautiful stone machine there, which is a 3-group machine. It's all analog machine. So ఆ machine ఎట్లాంటిది అంటే, వన్స్ ఒక బరిస్తాకి కాఫీ అనేది ఏం తెలుసుకోవాలంటే ఆ మెషిన్ పైన పని చేసినప్పుడు వాళ్ళు ఎక్సెల్ చాలా మంచిగా చేయొచ్చు. కాఫీ నుంచి ఎక్స్ట్రాక్షన్ కానివ్వండి, కాఫీ రేషియోస్, వాటర్ టెంపరేచర్స్, ఇట్స్ వెరీ మైన్యూట్ డీటెయిల్స్ to follow there. And we also have merchandise coming up. Akkada merchandise kuda vastundi madi, where we also have very beautiful canisters for taking away to home, and you can store those beans. It's a airtight container adi. It's made of brass and also stainless steel. And one of the signature recipes madi is Black Remedy cold brew. Adi etla chestarante 18 hours cold drip tower undi ma daggara. Danto takes 18 hours to brew the coffee, and we sell it in a very sustainable bottle made out of glass. అందులో మేము సర్వ్ చేస్తాము. We also do it take away with that. That is one of our signature recipes. After roasting, we try to follow one process, which is cupping. Cupping అనేది కాఫీ ఆఫ్టర్ రోస్టింగ్ కాఫీకి ఎట్లా బిహేవ్ చేస్తుంది అనేది తెలుసుకోవడానికి కప్పింగ్ చేస్తాము. ఇట్స్ అ హోల్ 1 hour ప్రాసెస్. మీరు స్టార్ట్ చేసి డ్రై అరోమా స్టార్ట్ చేస్తారు, అరోమా వస్తారు, ఫ్రేగ్రెన్స్, దెన్ యూ కమ్ టు ఫ్లేవర్ ప్రొఫైల్, దెన్ యూ కమ్ టు అసిడిటీ. అసిడిటీ అనేది వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్ ఇన్ ఎనీ కాఫీ. సో ఆఫ్టర్ దట్ యూ గో టు ఆఫ్టర్ టేస్ట్, హోల్ కప్ హౌ బ్యాలెన్స్, ఎట్లా బ్యాలెన్స్ ఉందని చెప్పి we try to get the result out of cupping session. ప్రతి బ్యాచ్ మేము రోజు చేసింది ఇక్కడ we cupping చేసిన తర్వాతనే we try to brew with the coffee or retail section లో సేల్ చేయడానికి కానీ యూజ్ చేస్తామని.
So this is our fermentory at Naad. We like to show our customers our process of turning our kombuchas into amazing complex beverages, not only in terms of flavor profile, as also a very super healthy drink. It's full of probiotics, it's not processed, and is using only the best, very best ingredients, the very best teas. We also do cascara, which is the skin of the fruit of the coffee. It's also full of polyphenols, antioxidants, and has a delicious fruit forward flavor profile. We also have fruit sodas, we have kombuchas, and this is the start. So I would like to show you how we do the process. First, we have our SCOBY, and then we have our kombucha made with Earl Grey tea. It will take around 3 to 4 to 5 days, depending on the temperature. And when the kombucha is done and complete the process, then we will proceed to bottle it and then keep it in the fridge to stabilize the drink. And then we serve it to our customers. This is our espresso machine. As you can see, it's all analog. We can actually dial up our coffees manually. We have actually 5 settings. Each coffee requires its own brewing recipe, and because Naad is about crafting, we wanted to do it by hand. We don't want to have any programming, digital programming for us to do it. We prefer to do it ourselves based on our knowledge, experience and science. So every coffee is crafted and dialed particularly to bring the best flavor profile in the cup. So this is the machine that we use at Naad. We have 2 grinders and we have 3 groups, so we can actually brew a lot of coffee in a very short time.
I think we'll start with the top, Kadamba.
Yeah.
Kadamba would be one of the more fun, people,
Light-hearted, enjoying.
always having fun, doesn't matter what it is about, always making people laugh.
Making people have fun,
Yeah, absolutely.
feel relaxed.
Exactly, making people feel comfortable. I think that's what Kadamba would be.
Orlo,
Yeah,
I think, would be a nice lady who has,
makes sense.
yes, who knows good about food, lot
Yeah.
about food from across India.
Orlo would be someone who would be well learned, they would be knowledgeable, but they would love sharing that as well.
Yes.
Discussing experiences and instances that people may have gone through together. It would remind you of your nostalgic experiences when you talk to
yes.
them, I would say. That's Orlo for me. Naad is a very difficult question because Naad would be someone, they would be very, I would say they're a one of a kind when you meet someone. They know so much, but you don't feel intimidated or scared by them. You feel like, man, I would love to just be friends with this person because I'll get to learn something new.
Yes, I agree. Yeah,
And I think Naad would be someone who would be approachable while just being there for you. If you ever need something, you could approach Naad. I think that's the 3 people for me. I don't think there was a gap in
yeah.
Hyderabad. I think Hyderabad as a city has been doing extremely well with regards to coffee, and the coffee culture is phenomenal. We felt that Indian coffee needed
New share.
yeah, it needed a space to be showcased. It needed a platform for the world to know that, hey guys, Indian coffee is here and that we're doing something great with Indian coffee. So I don't think Naad was born out of an idea of a gap in Hyderabad. It was out of our desire to bring Indian coffee to a platform where people can say, wow, Indian coffee is doing something great. And it needed to be experiential. It needed to be something that people could approach, and that's how Naad came out. We feel that coffee should not be intimidating.
Intimidating, exactly.
That's very important for us as entrepreneurs. And even if you enjoy a cappuccino, you should be able to come to Naad and enjoy a cappuccino. If you want to know more, we have got it for you. So that's what Naad was inspired by. You want to answer that?
I think yes, we like to see happy faces. I think that is more than overhearing people. When you see people having good time, the people having happy faces, enjoying with their families, friends, colleagues, having a good time, that makes us feel happy that there's something good that's coming out from us and people are having good experiences with the product.
I agree. I also feel I'm a little more, I feel like I enjoy conversations, so I will walk up to guests or sometimes overhear them because I'm there, seeing how everyone is experiencing the space. And what I've really loved is that when people come in, let it be with friends or families or just alone, they can come have a good experience, they enjoy it. And the most satisfactory feeling is when you see them coming back. I've had guests who have spoken or I've overheard them telling people that this is my 4th visit in a week, and that gives you enough validation.
Espresso, pour over, cold brew.
Pour over for me.
Cold brew.
I'll go for a nice pour over or a hot any day.
Books or music in a cafe.
Music in a cafe.
I will go for books in a cafe.
And finally, when someone walks out of Naad, what do you want them to feel?
Relaxed, happy.
I'll say content. You should feel like you had an experience that was worth visiting for, and you would love to come back and
Cool. Books or music in a cafe? Books. One word for each. Orlo, Kadamba, and Naad. Notely. Orlo, Kadamba, and Naad. Naad, soil to soul. Kadamba, community and togetherness. Orlo, flavors.